Hi everyone, it's Marcy at Prints and Paints. I'm doing a quick little tutorial for you outside because it's such a beautiful day today. We're getting some nice 70-degree weather. It's fairly quiet out here. The birds are chirping, so I figured I would show a quick tutorial on how I make my grid lines for all of my projects. I had a few people reach out to me and they wondered how I made the circles, how I do the segments, things like that. So I wanted to quickly do this for you guys and hope that it helps you a great deal. Okay, so basically what I have here is just a rough piece of MDF hardboard. It is not painted, it's not sanded, I haven't really prepped it. I'm just right from scratch. I just cut it. It's about a 12-inch mandala here. If you can kind of see, I have a little bit of a center dot there, little tack, okay? So I'm just gonna show you a variation of things that you can use if you don't have something to help with your grid lines. All right, so there's two parts to doing grid lines. There are the circles to which the dots can lay on, okay? And then there's also uh, line segments that come out to where your design falls down on that. Okay, so those are the two main things that you need to worry about when creating a mandala. Now, some people are concerned, how do I start it? Where do I start? Most mandalas will start in the center. Okay, they always start in the center and they work their way out. Um, Realistically, it makes more sense to do it that way. Otherwise, you'll be putting your hand in wet paint along the edges. So start at the center, work your way out, okay? The things I'm going to be using today, let's show you. So first and foremost, because I make this, I want to, show you what I have. So this is my ruler that I make. It is a standard 12-inch ruler, clear plastic so you could see through it. I have drilled holes at every 1/4 of an inch thickness. And so this helps the spacing for when you lay your dots in the circular motion to be precise, to be even, to help you so that they're not going in all different directions, okay? Included in this, I give you a tack, and I also give a plastic dowel. Now the dowel can be if you have a bit of a thicker center hole. I mostly use the tack. If you notice on my ruler, the number 0 is a much smaller size hole, so it is set for about 1/16 of an inch, so the tack should rest in there just nicely. And then these holes are a bit larger. I think they're at 3/32. So you can fit a pencil in here, you can fit a watercolor pencil. Markers, unless they're fine tip, might be a little hard. So I'm using the ruler today. And then I also have some other things that I can show you. All right. So realistically, the main two things I think you can use to create circles and to make them precise is a compass, which we have here, which I can also show you how to use this, or I have this ruler. I know there are some other things on the market that are circular, like a protractor, and maybe have holes in them as well. I'm not sure, so don't count me on that one. We'll have to do some more research and make a part 2 to this video. So what I would like to do though is I like to use the ruler. So what I do, included, like I said, in the package is your tack. So I would take out my tack and like so. And I'm just going to take the 0 point and I'm going to put the tack in that first hole. And then I'm going to insert it into the hole I have, okay? I've already found my center hole, and that's mainly just because I cut my own MDF. If you already buy your MDF, You can also watch a quick tutorial on how to find the center of a circle I have by just using either 2 rulers or a square and a ruler. And it is pretty well explained, pretty easy to follow. It's very easy to find the center of a circle. You just don't want to get too overwhelmed with it, okay? I have a pencil sharpener here too because I just want to keep my pencil a little bit sharp. And so by doing this, I'm just going to use a little baby hammer and I kind of just pound that in just slightly. And that just so it makes it nice and sturdy, this doesn't pop out. And then I want to have enough elbow space to be able to do this. Otherwise, I'll get snagged up. Okay. Now this ruler is 12 inches, so double that. This will act as being able to make a 24-inch mandala. So twice the size of this you can do, which is great. And then so all you want to do is put you can start at the first one, quarter. I'm going to start a little bit out just so that you can see it. So obviously it starts at every quarter of an inch. Here's an inch. And like I said, if you don't want to do every quarter of an inch, you can do every 1 inch. You can do every half an inch, every 3/4 of an inch. It does not have to be every, I just choose to like to do every quarter of an inch because then I know, well, okay, if I count 4 of those lines down, that's 1 inch. And it makes everything more uniform, it's more easy to work with. You really start to understand your grid of your lines. So anyway, I'm going to start at 2 just to show you. I'm going to move my ruler around like so. Let's move this so you can see it. Okay. I don't know if you can see the lines I'm creating. See? And so this is 3 inches. And we work ourselves around and we're just lightly putting the pencil in there. Usually I would use a white watercolor because I like to paint this black. So obviously I'm going to use what accommodates to what I'm painting my background color. You can go backwards, you can go forwards. And now, so this is going to make a nice cohesive, you know, type of circle palette for you. It really does help. I'll do these a bit darker so you can see them. You can go over it like this. And this is just for demonstration purposes, so I'm doing a darker pencil for you. So this is every inch. So if I like that design, I can leave it as is, or I could go back and I could do every half an inch, like so. Right, just like that. Or I could do every 1/4 of an inch, which is even smaller. Okay, so you get the gist of what this ruler can do for you. It's very, very helpful, and it cuts time in half. It really is something that I love to do, and I've made them so that all of you can be stress-free too and start your paintings a lot quicker. If you do have a regular size standard compass, just remember that you want to go every 1/4 of an inch in your play. So, you know, here's 1 1/4, so I would just go in there and go around. Now, I don't really like using these. I find I kind of struggle with them. Some people love them. That's probably why I made the ruler in the first place, because I don't really like to use these. You can use them, they're great. The standard ones do only go up to about 6 inches. So that's as far as you're going to really get, which really is a whole 12-inch mandala if you think about it. It's not terrible. So, but you know, I do like to work in large scale. I can work up to 36 inches. I just made a 4-foot one, which is, you know, much larger. So I would have to change this out. Okay, so that you could do, or you can get my ruler. My ruler I like to put on sale a lot on Etsy, so you know, put it in your favorites, put it in your shopping cart, and you know, you'll eventually get notifications on when it is going on sale. I try to do it a lot and often. So with saying that, so those are our circles. So that's how you make circles for your grid, for your mandala to paint. And so when you do paint them, you have a nice line, whether you do the circle on the line, right? Or whether you do the circle above the line. In my tutorials, I usually always show you, and I show you up close on how to do that. Now, so, okay, you got your circles, but where do I place my dots? What if I want to make a series of walking dots and make it look like a flower, right? Well, you can do a few things. I like to invest in this. This is so cheap. Couple bucks. You get yourself a plastic clear protractor. This one actually comes with a hole in it, so I can even use that tack again. Place it on here, and then you can do a tick mark. And these tick marks are every 1/4 of an inch, every 1/2 of an inch, I believe. I want to make sure so I'm not telling you the wrong thing. Yes, every 1/2 an inch, okay? You can go around. And all you do is want to tick it like this, okay? And then if you do it down here as well, so you want to do the opposite end. So I'm just doing every 1/2 an inch. I'm following what this says. This is 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, etc. And down to the center where it is at 0. Okay? So you're going to do that, just like that. And just remember that when you take this off, your opposite end is not going to be 50 over here. It's going to be 50 opposite from over here. All right, so see, when I take it off, what I want to do then is get myself a standard ruler. And then I'm just going to eyeball this. And you want to make sure that your ruler is falling over that center dot there. If it's like over here, you're not centered. Okay, you want to make sure that that ruler is lined up, butt against, like that. And then you would draw your line all the way over. Let's move this up a little bit. Like that, and then down, all the way down like that, okay? And so that made your first line. I'm a little rusty with that one. It didn't come out the best over here. There, okay? And then, so the next one would be this way, and you're doing your opposite spectrum. Remember that. You're just gonna do your opposite spectrum. So again, this one's gonna fall just like that, okay? And that is how we get our lines this way. Now, if I don't have a protractor, what can I do? Well, I'm sure most of you have purchased, okay, so most of you have gotten stencils probably like this, right? In kits that you've gotten, especially if you're beginners, and you say, what the heck do I do with these? Well, guys, this is the same thing as making your circles and making your vertical lines. They kind of make it a lot easier for you. So there's a couple different things you can do. So if you have something like this is called an 8-point segment. And basically this is the up and down, 1, 2, across, 3, 4, and then the X, 5, 6, 7, 8. And those can help you create 8-point segments. So if there's only 8 design elements that you want to do, and then something in between. So this one, you would just basically, you know, sketch out your line here, sketch out your line here, across and across. And then when you take it off, I'll show you this one right here. So if I was to take it off, and now because this is wide, choose one or the other side. Don't try to go down the middle because you're not going to be level. So choose one of the sides if you're using these, because it is rather thick and our pencils aren't that big. So if you do something like that, now you have these 2 lines here, correct? And so you can line up like that and then draw your line as well. Okay, and then you have a segment. That's called a segment. So you have a segment here, you have a segment here. There's 2 segments. Now, so that's an 8-point. Now you can do something like this. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 12, 13. So again, this is a 12-point segment, right? And it's the same thing. So you're just drawing your lines out from here. Now, again, I don't really like using these anymore. I used to when I first started, but I'll tell you why. It's kind of hard to get your segments exactly perfect. And by that, I mean like I said, the lines here in between this negative space here is extremely thick. So if I was to, I would really have to make sure that line is perfect. I mean, this is, something that you kind of grow to understand as you begin to paint. Um, can be great in the beginning, especially if you're just practicing. I find that, over time of using them though, like it just doesn't work for me anymore. It can work for you though if you're on a budget and, you're trying to save money, obviously. So what you would do with this one, and this is also looks like it's probably about a quarter of an inch between each one, maybe a little over. And so that also makes these little segments. Now you're not going to have a full circle. So of course, if you did something like this, the next one that's next to it has about, I'd say, a quarter of an inch or so in between. So you have to be careful in that particular spot, like there, see, because you have that negative space. So when you do a dot, you want to make sure, I would almost go back into that and then sketch it in so it's like one full circle. So these do work well. They also have these, which are from Happy Dotting Company, and these are like a silicone base. So these also can be great if you're putting them on like a rounded surface, whether it's making stones or tea lights, things like that. You can also use it on this. You just want to make sure your center hole is directly in the center of that cross in the middle there, or the X. And then from there you can sketch out, okay? But if you are working on a much larger scale, you want to up your game, you want to start doing some big, like, projects, doing mandalas, maybe doing vinyl as well, I'd say a protractor is the way to go. This is only my personal opinion, but it really does help. So I find that you can get more out of it, you have more spacing, it just helps a great deal. So anyway, with saying that, so those are the tools that you can do. And like I said, this is how you would line up all of these segments. Now you don't have to do every single one of them, obviously. You don't have to do every single one. You can do only a couple if you want. You can think about it in your head and say, well, okay, I want 2 walking dots over here and I want 2 up here, and then maybe 1 in between that, right? So of course you would get your protractor, you would do a line on the 0, a line on the 0, and then you would do a line on the 90 and the 90, and then somewhere in between, say 4.5, right, or 5, because you're counting to 9, half of 9, right? So about 4.5, I'd say. That's your in between those two. So I would mark that. And that's what's great about this, is that you can do 4.5. You're not constricted to just what they're giving you on this. This is great and all, but when you really want to start doing your own designs, you have to come up with an idea and say, okay, well, this is where this is going to be, and this is where this is going to be, and etc. So, it really does help when you're doing this, all right? Anyway, so this was a quick demonstration, 20-minute demonstration, not really quick, sorry guys, on how to do this. If you're interested in purchasing my ruler, I have them available on Etsy. I will share a link for everything that I have here, so that you can purchase them, even down to the MDF hardboard if you like. I know a really great person. His name is oh, his name is Nate, and he runs Nate Company, which is based on Etsy. Nate has actually been helping prepare my mandalas for my recent projects, and so definitely check him out and give him a follow, and His mandalas already come pre-cut for you. They're nice thickness for them, and he can really cut time in half for you if you're interested in finding nice mandala circles. So uh, he is based in, I think, Georgia in the United States. So if you do live in another country, maybe you want to check that out as far as someone that's local to you, or factor in shipping and things like that. So either way, this was just a quick demonstration. I wanted to show you guys how to do quick grids and how they work and why they work. And I hope this helped you. All right. Take care, guys. Bye.